intercepted. And here's a formation we will see a lot of. They'll like to keep it tight to the vest. They do, right up the middle. And right out of the gate, it's a pickup of 2 or 3. And something that Coach Chadwell talked about is the physicality that this Army front line plays with.
Well, that's what this offense is predicated upon. They're going to keep coming after you. They hope, if they get their way, to wear you down by the time the fourth quarter arrives, because they're big and strong, and you saw right there, Jacoby Buchanan got it for a couple inside, 260-pound fullback.
Tyrell Robertson, you'll be sure to hear his name a bunch tonight as well, 21 in white. Their leading rusher from a season ago. He's flanked out right on this 2nd and 7. Again, it's out, and it is Robinson on the pitch with room and thumps his way to the 35, close to a first down. And Robinson, who's just the third player in Army history, the first since their last Heisman winner, to have 600 rushing yards and 300 receiving yards in the same season.
He's blocking downfield. Robinson's the difference maker on this offensive team. He can run the ball, obviously, as we saw there. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He is exceptionally quick. 5'9", 180, but he can fly.
It was enough to move the chains. They'll go up the middle again, and thundering his way loose for 9-10 more. It's Jacoby Buchanan again, and that is the first point of emphasis for this Coastal Carolina defense that they talked about, was that dive play. This one's good for 9.
The dive play went for a lot more than a dive play. It went for about 9 yards right there. And that's what Buchanan can do. He takes a break, and you think, oh, here comes the second team guy. Nope. He's 260 pounds as well.
Aforementioned Tyson Riley comes in, the junior, 6'2", 260 to replace Buchanan. Robinson, the man in motion. It's a straight give up the middle. And Riley did not have the space Buchanan did as he's met at the line. And a bunch of teal jerseys there to make the stop.
A lot of guys running to the football. Both linebackers have to do their thing, but that time it was 6 people. It's going to take more than a couple to bring down these 2 fullbacks that the Black Knights have.
Lance Boykin led the charge, a senior, one of the few veterans on this defense for Coastal Carolina, as he helped make the stop and get him to the ground. Sets up 2nd and long, a situation the Black Knights do not want to be in often as they go back to that wishbone. And smothered in the backfield, nowhere for Tyler to go as he looked to fake the pitch, and there was shot of clears all around him, and there wasn't a way out.
Looked like Josiah Stewart was the first guy to read it and just jump all over Tyler. But no gain, and when you run to the football, one side of this line, yep, there's Stewart right on top of him.
And all the talk about Carter coming in, you know Stewart said, I can make plays on the defensive side of the football too. He does here, and now it is a long way to go. 2nd and long behind the sticks. They're going to throw it this time, and it is high. Too tall for the intended receiver. Their best one in Isaiah Alston, that one over his head. And now it is 3rd and very long for the Black Knights.
Isaiah Alston's the go-to guy for this football team. Big, tall receiver at 6'4". That ball needed to be caught by a guy who was about 6'8". Good coverage. It's man-to-man coverage more times than not because they bunch everybody up. See it right here. It's just throwing a little out of the reach of the receiver. And good cover there.
It's up 3rd and long, and something you won't see often. Army in the shotgun here on 3rd and 12. Straight drop. It's a different quarterback in there. It's Cade Ballard, straight quarterback draw, nothing doing. So after an initial first down, this Coastal defense put the clamps down on it.
It's assignment football, and everybody did their thing. Kennedy Roberts was right up front. Everybody takes the gap. You do your 1/11th of the job, and you get that. You get a chance to get the football back.
So Army will punt it away. Billy Bell Kelly, the punter. And it'll be Jared Brown back for the shots to field it. Directional kick and fair catch made for at the 20, and that is where the 2-time Sun Belt Player of the Year will take over for the first time in Grayson McCall. Shoulder surgery in the offseason. The big question, physically, how does he come back? Maybe more so mentally and getting hit for the first time since.
Coach Chadwell told us physically he's fine. But mentally, it was his throwing shoulder he had the surgery on by Dr. James Andrews, the best in the business. So physically, he's fine. He's going to get hit. I probably would imagine the coaches want him to get hit early and get it over with and jump back up and play with that swagger that he played with so well the last couple of years. So we said 20-2 the last 2 years.
Reese White, the man in the backfield with him here on down. And White will get the give right up the middle. Burst to the outside, and all kinds of teal turf in front of him across the 35. And it's first down from there, and a little extra pushing and shoving. And the front line for Coastal Carolina that time gets the job done.
Not a lot of experience in that offensive line, but a lot of 1-2 of guys that didn't get their chance to play. They're getting their chance now. The first play, they did it pretty well.
So it's a first set of downs after one play from McCall and Coastal Carolina's offense. Straight drop, quick pass to the outside, pitch, catch, caught. That's Tanner Nels on the outside, 6'4", 215 pounds, and he dropped it as he went out of bounds. But we wonder who that go-to target's going to be. We talked to him this week, and they're not really sure who the go-to guy is going to be in this offense.
No, Grayson McCall didn't play in the spring. He played till the fall. He was bobbling it out of bounds, but he didn't drop it. That's a plus. He didn't drop it.
Good coverage by Cameron Jones on the outside. And again, the Chanticleers go up the middle, and this time picks up 6, 7, 8 yards. And, you know, it was interesting in our meetings this week, Nate. Jeff Munkin said the theory or the basis of their offense is the same as ours. It's just presented very differently. They want to run it first.
A lot of window dressing, and they can do a lot more things out of it. But basically, it's an option football team. Spread option, I believe, is what they call it. Boy, Reese White runs really hard.
He's down 3rd and 2. We'll see if he gets the give here. The first third down for Coastal Carolina. It's McCall. Late pitch, and Army was ready for it. A loss on the play. And so McCall took the first shot there on that little option go, and a little slow to get to the sideline is Aaron Bedgood, a player that Coach Chadwell and company really, really like.
Read that defensive end, and as you said, Grayson McCall waited a little longer, kind of got his ankle rolled there, but if you got a white shirt on, you play against the option every day in practice, you're good at it.
And so now Coastal Carolina will punt.
They're a man short on the left side of that offensive line. They need one more. They're going to kick it with 10.
Crenshaw to do the punting duties, and here comes that 11th guy. In the last 3 or 4 plays from scrimmage, they've been really good.
Army is a right-handed kind of team, and they run this offense. And if the left side of the defensive line can get any kind of penetration, they can grab Tyler like they did there or force him to pitch the ball. But they got to get some penetration like that, and that's an effective defensive play. Blue option.
Manny Stokes, who made the play on the outside, and this time right up the middle in tough yards. Again, it's Buchanan. He'll get 5 or 6. That's up 3rd and more so manageable for this Army offense.
Even if there isn't a hole for either one of those fullbacks, they're going to make their own.
Yeah.
They're just that big and that strong, running behind an offensive line that averages very close to 3 bills.
It's an Army team that converted on 47% of their third downs a season ago. 0 for 1 so far today. And this time they'll pitch it outside. Robinson looking to make a move, does so. And he has a first down out to the 30-yard line. And that time it was one of the other scat backs, John Marshall. They have a host of them in the backfield.
Yeah, they got a bunch of guys with a lot of speed. And the first defender missed the tackle for the Chanticleers. You just can't miss tackles. You got an opportunity right there to make a play. Kind of got blocked and just did not make the play, and that was a big-time gain for Marshall.
There's Taven Jackson who had the best shot at it. Counter run this time. All kinds of room. Bursting loose and on the run. Robinson, 10-5, touchdown Army. And that's the explosive nature that Robinson brings to the table each and every time he touches the football.
First time they ran this little counter action. The action looks like it's going to the right. Tyrell Robinson gets it back inside, and it's just a foot race, and not many people are going to catch him from behind. Watch this action. They look like they're going right, and he comes inside, a couple nice blocks from the center and the left guard, and he's gone. It's a foot race, and nobody's going to catch him.
As Robin has scored for the first time this year. And Coach Monken made it clear that's where they want to play from, right around the lead or in front. That's when their offense functions best. Now the question becomes, how do the Chanticleers respond as McDoom and Brown back to field the Army kickoff? And end over end, we'll see if they take it back here just shy of the goal line. They will. And he is thumped at the 15. Ball is out. And I believe Coastal Carolina got it back, but a big-time hit and all the momentum early on the side of the Black Knights.
We are a long way from where that young man got hit, and you could hear it up here. There's a flag on the play, I believe.
So,
I'm just guessing, Kyle, but from the sound of it, it might be a targeting situation because it sounded like helmet hit helmet. That's just a guess on my part from so far away.
That's a good call, Nate, and that's exactly what our referee and Ted Pitts has called. So they're going to take a look at this and make sure, but boy, it was a lot of noise down there coming.
Yeah.
And Army, we knew they were going to be physical. They certainly took the physicality to it. And Nate, let's take another look.
Good look out here, full speed.
Let's see, right from the wing there. And it was a heck of a lick. Isaiah Alston, that could be huge, potentially, for the Black Knights.
Well, there's two number 11s on this team. I don't know if it was Alston or Tommy Zitello.
Yeah.
But full speed, it was hard to tell. It looked like, and I just saw it once full speed, the shoulder went in and then the helmet went up, but it's anything above the head and neck area. So they're going to look at it with the replay officials.
That's potentially a big-time call.
Marty Abatizian, and we're going to get the call right away.
Read the lips
Yep,
there. There is no targeting.
Oh, I thought he said there was. Okay.
So they said there is no targeting, so it'll stay at the 15-yard line. And now this is a Chanticleer offense that will be backed up to start their second drive of the ball game. And yes, we're early here in the first quarter, but the way Army's offense operates, you think important, certainly for Coastal Carolina to at least get a first down or two.
Yeah, they got exactly right. It's just what I was thinking. Don't go 3 and out and give it back to them, probably near midfield. Obviously, normally Ted Pitts' microphone's working. I'm sure they'll work on that. But you are a very good lip reader, sir.
So Coastal Carolina, sort of a strong pistol set this time with a couple backs in the backfield. It's C.J. Beasley and White back there. As McCall's out of the gun, handoff up the middle. Now there's room to dance across the 15 to the 25, and a 1st and 10 run for a first down. And running hard is Reese White. You mentioned it on that first series.
He just runs hard. And we failed to mention before the game, we found out that Braden Bennett will not play tonight. So that leaves them one short in the backfield, normally with 4, but Reese White, big-time run there.
White gives the Chanticleers a first down as McCall has a man in motion. And again, it's back to the ground. It's White again. This time, not as much real estate. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. And we mentioned run first. Grayson McCall has only tried to throw the ball one time so far as it brings up 2nd and 10.
Nathaniel Smith, 44 on the tackle there, filled in from the linebacker spot.
Now the pistol again. There's McCall and White behind him for the 2nd and long play. And trying to, at the very least, stay out of 3rd and long as McCall changes protection here, sensing Army might be coming with pressure. Here they come. McCall stands in, lets it fly, and broken up at the last minute, but flags abound. And Jabari Moore was in coverage, and I think he's going to hit with a pass interference.
Well, to nobody's surprise in this stadium, the ball was dead slap right on the money. Right in his hands. Watch this throw. That's off his back foot, too.
You can't place it better than that.
That's as good as it gets. Jabari Moore with the PI, and there's the big gain that Chanticleers were looking for.
So a chunk play via penalty there. Tyson Mobley was the intended target. The speedster, 6'1" junior.
Here's a hot stat of the night in college football. Grayson McCall's 0 for 2. That doesn't happen often, not for a guy that shoots it over 71% to his receivers, but that'll change.
Led the country in passing efficiency a season ago, did McCall. 1st and 10 here. As the Chanticleers marching across the 40. Swing pass, and there's the completion, and dancing with room, and bursting across the 40-yard line into Army territory. And playmakers abound. We said who would be the new guys. Perhaps Jared Brown's going to be one of them.
It's a red shirt freshman with a lot of speed. He was caught in the backfield. He outran everybody in a white shirt.
Quick handoff up the middle as they go with tempo. Chunks of yards here, and that might be close to, if not another first down. And this is when this Coastal Carolina offense a season ago really got humming, when they got a couple first downs, got to use tempo, find mismatches, and McCall as good as anyone at doing
Well, they're
that.
so varied, and there's so much to deal with if you're on the other side of the ball to try to stop them. It's a great play calling of Jamie Chadwell and the execution of Grayson McCall. It's a great combination.
Here McCall will sit again in the pistol. And again, handoff up the middle, dancing to the left side, slipping out of one tackle before being snowed under is Reese White again. Some tough yards. And we knew the physicality would be there. C.J. Beasley, 5'10", 205, tried to hide behind everyone he could and get every yard he could.
Looked like C.J. White went a little soon there, but he stopped in time to not be a motion penalty.
Strong set out of the pistol again. On 2nd and 5. Again, Army shows pressure.
They're coming from the left side.
Handoff up the middle, and it is close to, if not, another first down. And looks like they're going to mark him just short. And it's Beasley again, a couple carries in a row now for the redshirt sophomore out of Norfolk, Virginia. And it sets up 3rd and short.
With no Braden Bennett, Beasley's getting an opportunity and paying it off. Get Braden Bennett back. That's 4 really good running backs. Take your pick.
See what they elect to do here on 3rd and short. With a man in motion, they'll hand it off again, and he did not get there. Stopped in the backfield, a host of Black Knights there. Quindrelin Hammonds the first to greet him and bring him down.
No hesitation whatsoever from the sideline. They're not going to kick it.
Well, we mentioned, too, an all first-time battery as far as long snapper, holder, kicker. The crowd loves it. It makes
a half a yard short. That's all he needs.
5th and 1 for the first time this year. The Chanticleers are going to go. Man in motion, they do snap it. Give right up the middle, and the extra effort, I believe, will move the sticks. Coastal Carolina, actually both these teams did a season ago over 70% on 4th down, something they did a lot, and they're pretty good at it.
It's a really good job by Willie Lampkin up front. He's one of the 2 senior citizens up there, he and Antoine Loper. But the center, Willie Lampkin, 57, made a nice block. He's getting up a little banged up right there. He does a good job of the nose tackle. It's in his face. They only needed a yard, and they got it.
Well, as a running back, it's a good idea to find the back of number 57 and try to find a hole that way. They do for a first down and into the red zone for the first time. Handoff right side, cut back, and inside the 15-yard line. Good for a couple. And some extra pushing and shoving after. One helmet off of another player.
Will McDonald lost his helmet. He'll have to come out for a play unless there's a penalty on the play.
It doesn't appear that there is. And you saw McDonald fired up as he comes to the sideline. This is a group that knew they would be tested, and a lot has been talked about this offensive line. With all the new pieces, how would they gel? And especially with a quarterback like McCall behind him. And you see there the tenacity and physicality as Beasley awaits in the backfield on 2nd and 8.
Watch coming short side here.
That's Carter at the bottom of your screen, big number 34. As McCall Changes the protection, looked right at Carter, and trying to slip out of a Carter tackle was Beasley. Did so, spun close to the 10-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 6.
All right, I'm going to call my first play here. It's time for a little RPO for Mr. McCall here.
Well, there you go. The coach calling him in from the booth. I love it. As McCall hasn't thrown it much at that swing pass the last throw we've seen from
Man
McCall.
covered the top of the picture there with 2 of his receivers. Little crossing action. He rolls that way. He's good through either way.
Could also be 4-down territory. They've already shown the willingness to go on 4th down on this drive. McCall out of the gun. 4-man rush. Sets looking. He's going to take off and run himself. Tackled from behind. He is just shy. It's 4th and 1 and no hesitation again. It looks like they'll go again. Just shy of the 5-yard line.
He's got that clock in his head. He knows I'm going to throw it in 1, 2. It's not there. I'm going. And he's got the legs to make it happen, as we just saw right there. Another 4th and 1.
And two, question the mindset of McCall. Would he be as eager to do that after surgery? And certainly was here and got close to a 1st down.
Once the game starts, it's just read and react.
4th down and short for the 2nd time on the drive. Can they go 2 for 2? They'll bring a man in motion. That's Brown. McCall on the run, under pressure, flips it, caught, and that is good for 6. Grayson McCall, his first touchdown pass of the year. It's Jared Brown, and an extra point away from a tie ball game.
They went up the middle time after time after time. They faked it up the middle, and Reese White snuck out to the flat. Grayson McCall completed his first pass of the day, and it was money. Just took his time, waited for Reese White to get beyond the D-back. That was an easy pitch and catch.
And the senior from Sandy Springs, Georgia, soaking in the love from student section as the extra point in 6 minutes ties the football game. And now Army in a tie game, and you get the sense coming in we could see a little bit of counter punch from these offenses.
Yeah, that's the way it works, and that's a typical Chanticleer drive under Coach Chadwell. Run the clock, get what you need, and then at the end, let Grayson McCall make a play, and he did to Reese White.
So back out come the Black Knights. It's Tyler again at the helm under center. Coach Munkin made no mistake about it. He said we will see Tyler and Ballard and probably see them both a lot. For the first few series, with the exception of one play, it's been Tyler. No, this is Ballard, and that is caught. So Ballard, no, it's dropped in and out of the hands of his intended target in Alston, and that's something you don't see very often.
Little quick turnaround. Isaiah Alston was open inside the D-backs. He just didn't catch it.
Well, Ballard was thinking he might have his first completion as a Black Knight. Now career-wise, 0 for 4.
Little 2-yard and turn around. He just forgot to catch the football. Probably heard some footsteps for guys in teal jerseys.
That one was right on the money. Ballard, the senior out of Greenville, Tennessee, back under center on 2nd and 10. Fakes the give, now on the option. Flips it to the outside, and Coastal Carolina able to shut down the corner. A minimal pickup at best for Robinson, who that time didn't quite have the real estate he did last time he touched the football.
Well, J-Ran Parker did a good job of just extending the play to the sideline, and when you run to the short side of the field, I don't care how quick Robinson is, he's ran out of football field. This is where you want to be if you're Chanticleer. This is where you don't want to be if you're the Black Knight of West Point here, 3rd and long.
And again, it is Ballard under center, yet to complete a pass in his collegiate career. Looking for a big one here on 3rd and 9. Out of the gun, go the Black Knights. Straight drop time, fires over the middle, pitch and catch. It's Alston, but good situational football. He's stopped 3, maybe 4 yards shy, and it'll bring up 4th down.
He is a super talent.
Bedgood carry early, but that's the only time we've seen him in the game. As the handoff up the middle, dancing around and looking for room. Not much there. And big number 52 for the Black Knights was there in Austin Hill. to stop it for a minimal gain.
Austin Hill, the backup defensive lineman, but Leo Lowen and Calvin Crummy, the two linebackers, are very active. 31 and 46, you saw Lowen right there before. They'll get to the ball carrier, and they come with a vengeance, as linebackers should.
Pressure again being shown. They double Carter that time. McCall all day to throw, and he finds his man. He puts it on a rope into Army territory. Go the Chanticleers on another dime from Grayson McCall.
That's a really good pass to Tyson Mobley. As you said, he double clutched it and then threw it from one hash to the other sideline. It's a big-time throw right there, right on the money, and gets 1 foot in. They lost a lot of great receivers. They got a lot of talent back. There's one of them right there.
Mobley certainly could be one. You mentioned one of those receivers.
Somebody jumped, I believe. All right, Mr. Pitts, at least your microphone works. That's a plus.
It's week 1 for everybody, as the Boo Birds out for the first time. And it is first down and 15 now. As you see the infraction, we mentioned Tyson Mobley certainly could be one of those new targets, an old target in Isaiah Likely. We know he's watching the ball game as he's getting ready for the start of the Ravens season next week. And he was on Twitter earlier today saying, best day of all, the Chanticleers are playing football.
He had a heck of an exhibition game. I think he had 6 catches and a touchdown for like 100 yards. He only played in the first half. And the Ravens have a ton of tight ends, but he's right there with him. He made the roster.
You know, Grayson McCall sitting there saying, I've seen that before, and Likely seen that before. That was a Likely route right down the seam inside the 30. And Grayson McCall heating up through the air on this drive where he's 2 for 2 this time. A nice start to Tanner Nels across the 30, and the Chanticleers are moving again.
Pinkney catches it. The reason this play works is the fake to the running back didn't allow the linebackers to get back into that spot and just run up the seam, and Pinkney caught it for a big gain. Of course, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but he put it right on the money again.
Well, you can do that with McCall.
He does it with regularity.
He's boring. He puts it in the right spot, makes the right read here on the handoff up the middle, and it picks up a couple, but you saw Black Knight in the backfield early, ready to wreak havoc, and Jimmy Charlo had McCall kept it. Instead, he gives off to Beasley, who picks up a few.
And Jimmy Charlo, the outside linebacker, just read that play exceptionally well, and that's tough to do because Grayson McCall can pull it out and take it himself or throw it to somebody, but Charlo took a gamble and it paid off.
Second down and 8 now. Again, that strong look pistol. McCall looks, swing route over the middle. And that one in and out of the hands of one of those young receivers. The look was there, though, and now it's going to be 3rd and long. You mentioned Army doesn't want to get 3rd and long. Coastal Carolina don't want to be in too many either.
Nope. Jared Brown, the redshirt freshman, hit him. Big slap in the hands. Boom. Just didn't catch it.
They're trying to make the stop.
But he caught him all. It's a little different when the lights are on.
Quindrelin Hammond, sold-out crowd, lights on. A little different story. 3rd and 9 for McCall and Coastal Carolina. Pressure comes. McCall steps up, fires, got man. It is caught. Touchdown. McCall, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. A beauty of a catch from Tanner Nels. And Nate, that, my friend, was a beautiful catch in the end zone.
Folks, this is as good as it gets. Watch Pinkney just runs right down the line, and he throws it. What a great effort to make the catch deep in the end zone. McCall to Pinkney's the line this year, I guess.
It worked on that drive as
what
Pinkney
a great effort.
Reeled it in, and not too many times you have to try to make Grayson look good. But Pinkney did there.
True.
A diving catch and the touchdown, and the Chanticleers for the 2nd consecutive drive find the end zone. 14-7 shots. Army's turn to try to respond on the other side.
And Notre Dame, and of course the Raging Cajuns, Louisiana under Billy Napier. That's some pretty good company right there.
Good company.
A lot of W's, not a lot of L's.
Indeed. Coastal Carolina trying to make 3 seasons in a row with 10-plus wins. And Coach Chadwell made no mistake about it. He said tonight would be a measuring stick where this football team was. So far, so good. But this is the time of the game where, the Black Knights are thinking, we could take 11 and a half minutes off the clock,
exactly
go in
right.
and score and tie the football game.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's their plan, I am sure. First down after first down, and we'll just grind it out. Like I said, Coach Munkin told us this week on the phone, our goal is to wear them out to prevail in the fourth quarter. It's kind of like not to take a punt or anything, but it's a battle plan. That's what it is. And these kids are going to be soldiers in the Army and protect us the rest of their lives. It's a good way to attack.
In the second quarter last year, exceptionally kind to the Black Knights as they thump here for 5 or 6 yards again. It's Jacoby Buchanan, who's gotten a lot of work here in the first half.
I think that was 32 Riley. 32 and 33. Take your pick. They both weigh 260. It doesn't matter.
They both look a lot alike.
They're big and they're strong, and they're a touch over 250 pounds.
Both come at
you.
You
block
full
a lot
steam
up
ahead.
front. Got to block a little.
2nd and 5, and this one, not much doing up the middle. We have not seen that counter play for Army since they scored on it on the big Robinson touchdown run.
What we haven't seen is Chad Staggs loading up the box to dare him to throw it. They're sticking with their base defense. Now, granted, you probably don't want to show it to them in the first half, so they'll have to adjust to it if you do it in the second half. But 3rd down and manageable is a questionable term here with 5 yards to go.
Army has thrown it 3 times. They've completed
They're
one of them.
Up the right side.
We'll see if they do here on 3rd and 5. As they go in the wishbone set, man in motion, and too much motion. And 3rd and 5 might be about to turn to 3rd and 10.
And the play clock still said 1, so it wasn't a clock. Somebody must have moved. As a coach, game 1, game 10, that drives you nuts. It's a 3rd down play. It's a 5-yard play. Now it's 10 yards. Completely changes your call. Might completely change your quarterback.
And you mentioned Army last year, and not a surprise considering the rigors that they go through, just 36 yards of penalties a game a season ago.
Defensive backs are on an island. It's man-to-man. 2 safeties deep, but it's man-to-man.
They'll run the option to the outside, get it in Robinson's hands, and watch him work. Down the boundary, across midfield, and into shot-of-clear territory. Another big run for Tyrell Robinson.
Because they send somebody in motion, Kyle, you obviously have to account for the dive. You have to account for the quarterback. They outnumbered you. They outflanked you, to use a military term. And when they do that, this young man, Robinson, he just outruns people. Watch. There's the dive covered. There's the quarterback. And then there's one guy left. Great blocking on the perimeter by the wideouts. And he's just too fast.
Murphy, the man blocking downfield there. He was the receiver in motion. Here's the counter again. And again it springs loose. Another 10-plus yard gain for Robinson. Back-to-back touches with double-digit yardage to go next to it.
I think they heard you about using the counter. It worked exceptionally well against if you go back 30 years, it's called a trap play. Where they just pull a guard. They don't block one of the linemen. They pull the guard. If you're not blocked, you better be ready to be blocked. They are. And that young man gets another big-time gain. That's back-to-back big plays for him.
Ijon Marshall will spell him here on 1st and 10 as the Black Knights are on the move. Remember last time we saw Army, they were having one of the banner wins for them of late. On their way to a 10-win season, as this one will get a few. Beating Missouri out of the SEC in the bowl game. And both these teams ended the season on a high. And this sort of, for both teams, talking to both coaches, seemed like a culmination. Okay, now the question, can we carry it into the next season?
Well, if you talk to Coach Munkin, I'll bet in his office by himself, he called a losing season because of one game. They lost the Army-Navy game.
Yep.
That's like the biggest game, and there he is right there in the middle of your picture. But they did win a bowl game over Missouri.
On a counter, and Tyler got thumped as he spins forward. But Coastal Carolina was right there defensively in his grill.
He got popped twice on that play. The first one didn't take it down, the second one did. You know, you and I were talking before the game. You go back to Texas 1,000 years ago when they ran the option. The idea of them was hit the quarterback on every play and wear him out a little bit. Watch, he gets popped right there, nothing. Then they finally get him pretty good right there.
Third down and a short 3, and knowing Army, you know, if they do get it, it's probably 2-down territory. The dive will get at least half of it. It'll set up 4th and 1 just inside the 25. And like Coach Chadwell in the first quarter, no hesitation from Coach Munkin here. The offense stays out there.
Yeah, that's Tyson Riley right there. That meant nothing. They were going for it no matter what.
Sellout crowd on hand at Brooks Stadium right now. They love what they're seeing. Their Coastal Carolina shot clears up 14-7. But Army's on the march, and they've done it about the way you'd expect them to do it. Sort of methodical, a couple explosive plays here and there. But it's a pretty good football game to sell out crowd.
It's the option. It's establishing the dive. It's the option. I just looked at one stat that surprised me. Time of possession. It's early in the football game, obviously. But the Chanticleers are up 11 to 6.5 minutes over Army. Of course, this drive could even that up if they just keep the ball.
You look at this Army Black Knight team a season ago. It's a team that, as you might expect, had the ball a lot. They did over 35 minutes a game. They kept it from you from over half the football game. The question is, what could you do in the 25 minutes you had it?
Exactly.
And so far in Coastal Carolina, their last 2 drives have found the end zone. As Army goes back to work here, trying to tie things up under 8 to go here in the first half. And a lot of motion up front. Shane Buckingham, the big fellow on the line, moved, and Buchanan followed right behind him. And he'll pick up 3 or 4. And that dive play is Riley has gotten the bulk of them here on this drive. Has found some success that it did in the last couple of drives.
Well, 4 yards is all they want out of it, 3 or 4 yards. And I think the Chanticleers have realized whether it's 32 or 33, it doesn't matter. Buchanan or Riley, one guy's not going to bring them down. You got to have some help from your friends.
Riley now 6 carries for 21 yards. Buchanan 4 for 18. And then Robinson already over 100 on the night. As it's faked here, Tyler kept it himself, and Robinson was skipping after that one. He wanted the ball on the outside. He had a man one-on-one, and he didn't get the pitch that time, but it sets up 3rd and 5 or 6 here. And you know, if you're Coastal Carolina defensively, they know they have 2 plays to get it.
You just got to stay disciplined. You can't anticipate, oh, they're going to do this, because they'll run that counter on you or they'll throw the ball on you. So every guy's got to do a job, 1/11th. And who's going to execute better, the big fullbacks with the dive or the Chanticleers defensive line? We'll see.
Joshua Madison, the man to bring him down on that last occasion. 3rd down and 5, ball at the 15. And the Black Knights were out of the shotgun, and Coach Munkin wants to talk about it with 6:02.
Well, the teams that are not coming from FCS, they don't have the restriction of scholarships like he had when they changed. So they can come in with a full amount, which makes a big difference. But he did an amazing job coming in and continues to do it.
Watching his defense here on a big 3rd and 6. Robinson lowers the shoulder. He's going to be shy, but by a yard or 2. And in a way, if you're Army, that's a win because now you have your whole assortment of options here on 4th, and we'll call it 2.
JT Killen, a big part of this defense this year since they lost the likes of Teddy Gallagher. Happens to be Teddy Gallagher's best friend. So he's got to fill up the void, and I hope he can grow a mullet because he's got to do that as well.
Buchanan right behind Tyler here as they bunch in tight on 4th and 2. Tyler hands it right to him. Second effort is going to get him beyond the sticks and thundering down to the 5-yard line. Some good hard-nosed running from Jacoby Buchanan. You mentioned just one guy isn't going to bring him down. That time it took 5 or 6.
He was stopped, but he never stopped the legs. That's why they led the nation in rushing touchdowns. Watch his legs. He never stops moving his legs. There's 5 guys that can't bring him down. It's like trying to tackle an offensive tackle. I mean, that's what it is.
Saw number 4, Tobias Fletcher, in your picture, holding on for dear life. First and goal for the Black Knights. Going in at the 5-yard line. Handoff. Give it to him again. Lowers the shoulder, flips around, and by the time he gets up, he's back at the 2-yard line. And you get the sense he might get 2 more cracks at punching this one in here.
He worked that hard. You know, that was sort of like the counter. Obviously, they didn't give the ball to Robinson. They give it to him. This is the way they want to play football. Just wear you out up front, and then you got to tackle a 260-pound running back.
And I believe that time Coastal Carolina jumped on the edge. And that
against the shots, it's going to be half the distance.
This could be a big call if it goes the other way.
Offside, defense, number 23. In the neutral zone, call for the offensive react. Second down.
Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea here, let Coach Staggs just stack the middle up with everybody and dare them to throw it. They're probably going to run it up the middle and score anyway, but see how your kids react to it, so you may have to come back to that in the second half.
Well, remember earlier on this drive, Kennedy Roberts had to come out of the ball game. And here they go right back up the middle. First effort, he didn't get there, and I don't believe he got there on the second one either. So on second and goal, it's going to be third and goal from about the half-yard line. As that time, the big fellas in the middle of that shot a clear defensive line. Mangley, Gerard Clark, and company were able to stop them.
See, they slowed them down and pulled them back from behind. They're going into the student section. This is when those kids should be going nuts. Make it a home field advantage a little bit here.
They start to come to life here on third and goal. Inside the 1. Army looking to try to tie up the football game. Tyler, handoff up the middle. This time, the big fella's in. Jacoby Buchanan finds Pater, and an extra point away from tying the football game are the Black Knights.
He carried it probably 6-7 times in that drive. And I think I read a stat last year, he was never tackled for loss. Not that's such a big deal if you're 260 pounds with quick feet.
You see Thunder in his way, and the big fellas that escorted him in, it was up there.
Of like 181.
Yeah.
So he's only 100 points better than 207.6 last year.
On a day where he started 0 for 2, here he starts at his own 16-yard line. Long way to go, but a lot of time. Handoff up the middle. Counter, and now exploding through. Another 10-plus yard gain for Coastal Carolina. And as good as McCall is, make no mistake about it, Jamie Chadwell will tell you he wants to run it first, and here he does for 12.
Absolutely correct. That's what they want. They're a running football team. When they have to throw it, they got a pretty darn good quarterback, but they're a running football team.
And it's Reese White again. Turning the legs for extra yards after contact. Handoff up the middle. This time there's nothing there. Might have lost a yard or two. Reese White averaging over 6.5 yards a carry so far, but not a far cry from Tyrell Robinson for Army. Look at this, Nate is averaging over 20 yards a touch in this first half.
Big number 97, Bonstu there, 6'4", 280, a senior. Will be protecting you and me after he gets out of the United States Military Academy, but he's protecting his defense right now.
He clogged the hole that time. It's second down and 9. McCall looks to throw. Time's run out, and he escapes from one. And he turns his sack into a 3 or 4 yard gain. And, Nate, that's probably the part of his game we don't talk about enough, turning a bad play into an okay or even good play.
Well, he's got that great clock in his head that knows after so many seconds I'm either going to get killed or I better run if I can't get rid of it. Receiver wasn't open. He didn't throw it away. Or excuse me, he didn't throw it to the other team. He got a couple yards to keep the drive alive. Now they got to convert on third.
Found and manageable 6, as opposed to if he got sacked, it would have been 10 plus. 2 receivers to each side for McCall. 3-man rush. McCall with time. Now running out of it, drifts left, evaluates. Now he's got to try to run. He got a yard, maybe 2, flagged down as well. And I believe Army got exactly what they were looking for on defense, which was a 3 and out.
Might have been a lineman. I'm not sure what it was. It was late in the play. That's not what you want if you're a Chanticleer fan. Army might decline this.
You decline it and bring up 4th down and about 4. Or you take it and take your chances with 3rd and 16 and give McCall another shot at it with 1:12 to go until halftime. So Coastal Carolina got that first down, and Coach Munkin taking a long time to think about this one.
Taking his time to decide this one.
Holding offense, number 66. That penalty is declined. It will be 4th down. The defense has chosen for the clock to start on the snap.
You saw Will McDonald hands in the air, and the overarching and universal term, it wasn't me holding in the middle of that line, but he got tagged for this one. It'll bring up 4th down with 1 minute and 12 seconds for Army to work with. They too have multiple timeouts. They got 2 of them. So important here if you're Coastal Carolina. And Luke Crenshaw trying to flip the field here. They come after it. Nearly got to the punt, did Army, but it's a good one. Spiraling inside the 20. No fair catch, and he got clobbered. He hangs on, and Army will take over at the 20-yard line, but the kick coverage unit picture perfect for Coastal Carolina.
Just thinking to myself, for this kick, if you're Coastal, watch this. 100 miles an hour coming right down. If he had no fair catch, as you said, he gets nailed. Danny Stokes Jr., the cornerback. Wow.
And Robinson's the guy on a kick. He got a cover. He had over 15 yards per return a season ago here.
He's got 123 yards on the ground tonight.
I gotta think, perhaps we'll see that counter a couple times here on this drive where they need more of that explosive play. It's worked so far. And
Well,
Robinson.
this is not an advantageous situation for an Army offense. A minute to go, 80 yards away, timeouts or no timeouts.
They'll go to the dive play up the middle and stymied at the point of attack.
Of course, that's when you stop them. When you're 80 yards away on the 1-yard line, you don't stop.
But Kennedy Roberts in the middle of that defensive line, you see him in the middle of your screen there, was out on the goal line. He was hurt. Good to see him back in the football game.
I thought Coastal might stop it 3 times and get a punt back, but they're going to just let it go. They have all their timeouts. Army is in no hurry whatsoever. Might be the last play of the half here.
Don't call timeout. This could be last play of the half. Dive up the middle. They'll keep it close to the vest, and that will likely end the first half. No turnovers here on week 1 through a half a play, and now a shot of clear, slow to get up. As the athletic training staff will attend to him, but really a lot of what we thought we would see coming into this football game through the first half.
Yeah, Army controlled the football, controlled the clock, got the ball to their big fullbacks, either one of them, 32 or 33, and marched down the field. Took a long time to do it, but that's what they do. They wear you out. And they got 2 scores on the board, and then Grayson McCall with a couple great plays for the 2 scores for the Chanticleers. We're going to halftime tied up unless something really crazy happens here.
So they will help the injured Chanticleer.
Staff taking care of the shots.
It's JT Gillen, the Mike linebacker. Redshirt junior out of Lake Wiley, South Carolina. So see a lot more of Mason Shelton, number 45. You would imagine he'll get a lot of those reps. As we saw Killen before the game, he was bouncing around, hair flying around. He was excited for this football game.
Well, right there is a good sign. They helped him off to the sidelines. He's flexing that knee. He'll be okay.
And certainly
get in there, get some ice on it, get some fluids in you. It's not a crazy hot night, which it has been the last month around here. So everybody should be good. Of course, we're in a super secret below zero freezing press box, so I really don't know how hot it is out there at all.
It certainly is humid out there, and something you typically see a lot week 1. Cramping typically comes in. You can, and coaches will tell you can condition all you want all summer long, but game action is a whole nother animal, and hopefully that's what it is for Killen, and we'll see a lot of them
What
in the
is
second
the
half.
music they are playing? What is this music?
Coastal Carolina had called timeout.
Sounds like Sesame Street music. I have no idea what that is.
I'm sure if you go down to the student section at halftime, they'll tell you.
I'm glad they all stuck around. Well, why not? It's a tie football game.
And you get
Two
a good
quality teams, a lot of action. As you said, no turnovers.
Get a look at that student section there in front of the Marion Josh Norman Fieldhouse. It has been a tough ticket to get, as the sellout was announced Thursday.
That's pretty cool.
And Friday, the ones that didn't have tickets were trying to find some way somehow, and you go on your third-party ticket sites. Tickets were going as high as $1.50 to get into this football game.
That's great. It's great. It shows you the quality opponent. It shows you the anticipation of Coastal Carolina this year in the Sun Belt Conference.
So in all likelihood, the last play of the half, 3rd and 4. And they'll take a knee. We'll see if we get another timeout here, and I believe we did with 7 seconds to go. It'll bring up 4th down. So you just thought Coach Chadwell wasn't going to call a timeout.
Well, I thought he'd do it on the first play. He didn't. The injury to Killen kind of helped them out because it gave him another one.
So you got 7 seconds or 6
the
seconds.
Clears did an amazing job of covering the punt last time. Now, Army's going to get the same opportunity. Coach Chadwell's upset about something.
I think he wants that extra second on the clock. He wanted it right away. Thought a couple seconds might have ticked away. Visor in hand, talking to the officials. And, well, we can make sure that Ted Pence is going to hear exactly what Chadwell wants. And you see the you think this game doesn't mean anything to them? I mean, really, both he and Coach Munkin and both come from your neck of the woods. Both spent some time in the Charleston area on their way
I think
up here.
Coach Chadwell was upset that they didn't blow it quicker.
Yeah.
That his knee went down before the actual seconds. There's plenty of time for a punt to return.
Now you get 8 seconds on the clock, and something Coastal Carolina did 5 times last year was block a kick. That was a program high. We'll see if they come after this one here.
Special teams, big part of a football game. They're going to block it. They're going to set up a return. One or the other. Looks like they're coming after it. They got 10 on the line.
It's a good snap. They do get it away. It's a wobbly kick, and nobody's going to go.
I believe in the first half.
He was certainly explosive, but Grayson McCall shortly after that answered his first touchdown pass of the campaign, made it look really easy. And what impressed me was the mental clock Grayson McCall had all half long. Shoulder surgery or not, he didn't look like he missed a beat.
He knew he's got about a second and a half to get rid of it, and that's a top 10 ESPN play for me. When Grayson McCall throws it to the transfer from Georgia State, Sam Pinkney, with a great layout catch. And then the fullbacks for Army got a couple plays to keep drives going. When they got down close, they're going to give them the football, and they scored.
Last one, the touchdown for Army, the last one of the half, and there you get your game summary. Robinson, you mentioned it, 123 yards rushing for the Black Knights, over 20 yards a carry. Grayson McCall missed his first 2 passes, hasn't missed since, a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, Robinson, as we showed, 70 on that one play, and Grayson McCall missed a couple early and was perfect since. Love the way coaches are great at adjusting at halftime in football. We'll see if Coach Chad Staggs can do something to slow Army down a little bit, because if you let them continue drives, they just grind you up and want to do it in the fourth quarter. And Grayson McCall is really good. See if the offense for Coastal shows some different things that they didn't show Army in the first half.
Well, something you expect to be a factor, this crowd, a sellout crowd here at Brooks Stadium. Heard from them a lot in that first half, and you would expect to hear a lot more. There, Chanticleers will get the football first. As we start half number 2, what's the biggest thing you're looking for each team before we kick off the second half?
Well, I think for Coastal, they got to figure out a way to not stop either of the fullbacks, because you can't, but slow them down or put Army in situations where it's not 3rd and 3, 4th and 3, 4th and 2. And for Army, I think they're going to see some offense they didn't see in the first half out of Coastal, some variations of the offense, and they just got to deal with it. They did a pretty good job. As we said, McCall got hot and he had the 2 touchdown passes.
McDoom and Brown back respectively to field the kick from Cole Talley. Under the lights here in the second half, tie ball game. What better way to start the 2022 college football season? And this time he lets it go over his head into the end zone for a touchback, and Grayson McCall and company will start at the 25-yard line. And Nate, do you expect maybe to see him throw the ball more here in half number 2?
Possibly, but I don't think early. They don't want to, as we talked about during the end of the second quarter, you don't want to have a 3 and out and give Army the ball with a lot of time left. So I think they'll be patient. They like to run the football. I'm surprised we haven't seen two things. We haven't seen Aaron Bedgood. We haven't seen Bryce Carpenter. We thought Bryce Carpenter would have a package for him as well because he's really good in that quarterback spot. Not as good as Grayson McCall, but he's pretty tough.
Mentioned Bedgood, just one carry and lost a yard on that carry early in the first quarter. Back to the ground, running through tackles. A tough run there right on cue. It'll pick up 5 or 6 as White gets his 4th carry since the first quarter.
That's the way he started the game, running really hard right up the middle. He doesn't get those jet sweeps and all that stuff. He's got to earn him up front. His offensive line gave him a nice hole, and he just plowed through a bunch of white shirts.
It's a pickup of 6 on first down. As McCall sends a man in motion here, gives it back to White. Between the tackles again, he's going to get 2 or 3 more, maybe a yard shy of the first down. And it'll set up 3rd and short. On 3rd down, Coastal Carolina pretty efficient in that first half as they were a season ago. The Chanticleers just 1 of 5, though, in the first half on 3rd down.
And now here's where they can go to their option game. They didn't do much there in those first 2 plays. But because of the expertise of Grayson McCall and the running backs, you got to cover 53 and a third yards to stop them on this one.
And Coach Munkin said they had to get off the field defensively on 3rd down. So far they have. McCall, pressure comes here, slips a tackle, and now he's making a pay. McCall is loose across the 45-yard line. And we wondered, coming off shoulder surgery, how eager he would be to use his legs. You get the answer there. It's a big 3rd down conversion.
Well, I think the play was set up to go option left, and there was a lot of white shirts there. He read it. In fact, watch this. There's nowhere to go. So he just turns it back against the grain, gets a big-time gain, and smartly slides. Don't run into one of those guys. Slide.
You see Charlo, the outside linebacker, had the running back or the pitch man covered. He was hoping to make a time play. McCall kept it, picked up a first down out of the 45-yard line. McCall sidesteps, takes his shot down the field, finds his man. He's completed his last 6. And here's Pickney again, perhaps the new go-to target for Grayson McCall for a first down.
Well, they faked it to the inside again, held those linebackers, and then it's one-on-one. Pickney's a big kid at 6'4", 215. Against a much smaller defensive back, he throws it away from the defense to the outside. Pickney gets hands up, makes a catch.
So now across midfield, Chanticleers moving to start drive. Spin move, White makes another miss inside the 30. And he'll get inside the 30 to the 28-29-yard line. I think you get to see a little bit of the flash from number 2. He got outside.
I will take back what I said for you, Mr. White. You got a little outside speed. Deserves a blow right there. He's coming out.
Well, you've seen C.J. Beasley when he's been in the ballgame, the 5'10 redshirt sophomore who checks in at tailback. He's been pretty good back there as well. Comes in here on 2nd and 5 as McCall again checks at the line of scrimmage. Man in motion. Fake to him. McCall fires over the middle into traffic. Put it on a dime. It's a first down.
Don't tell me they lost any receivers last year. They got them all back now. Plays right here. Throws it between the defense. Just zips it in there, and a great catch.
That is not a big window, and found it.
Coach Chadwell said there's a lot of talent in this receiver room.
McCall has completed his last 7. It's Mosley up the middle, chopped down inside the 10. It'll bring up 2nd down and short, and you get the sort of golf applause from the crowd. They get the sense the ignition is in drive, and they're in 3rd or 4th gear on this drive inside the 10.
Runs inside, runs outside, throws. I mean, that's what Coastal's offense is. It's so hard to prepare for them because they do so many different things. Let me rephrase that. They do so many different things well. A lot of teams do a lot of things. They do them well.
2nd and 5 at the 10-yard line. McCall already with 2 touchdown tosses on the night. He's hit his last 7. He'll give it up here, hurdling a man close to a first down marker. And it's Beasley who's gotten the tail end of this drive. White got it started. Beasley, another tough run there. It's 3rd and short, just outside the 5-yard line.
C.J. Beasley earned those. Well, here we go. Here's Bryce Carpenter in the game.
So Carpenter in the game. They said we would see some packages for him. Both coaches expect.
What he does, he is one tough runner. He can throw the ball too, but he is one tough runner. Even Coach Monk mentioned him in the press conferences.
6'3", 195-pound quarterback draw right on cue. Carpenter lowers the shoulder, and it is good enough for a first down.
That's what he does. He won some football games for them last year when Grayson was hurt and played really well the whole time.
I mean, coaches show earlier this week, Coach Chadwell said, you either have a quarterback or you don't. He said, we're fortunate enough. Yep. We got 2.
Tough to be Grayson McCall's backup, but he's not really the backup. He gets his opportunities, as we see right here.
And Carpenter, a chance perhaps to try to punch this one in. Man in motion, give up the middle, and it's going to be a couple yards shy. Good defense flying in there. Unimpeded was Marquell Broughton, who brought it to a minimal gain. And
here's an interesting play. Willie Lampkin just lost his helmet. That means Willie Lampkin's coming out. That means a new center is coming in, probably Tyler Wagner. See the play right here.
Coach Munkin talked about this, too. He said, we don't do a lot of the finesse practices you'll see. He said, we go full bore all the time in camp. He said, we can't play pillow fight football. We got to be physical, and they get a good sense tackling in space there. It's 2nd and goal from the 5. Play clock down to 2. They just got it off. Carpenter stuffed for a loss in the backfield, and now a drive that was humming along. It's 3rd and goal from the 7. And here comes Grayson McCall back into the ballgame.
That was a disaster that was averted right there. Bryce Carpenter realized the clock was running down on him. He had to do something. He just didn't turn the ball over with a new center in the football game there and got the playoff.
Now it's 3rd and goal from the 7. See, McCall looks Pickney's direction again.
Spreading them out.
Pickney at the bottom of the screen. As McCall takes the snap, looks that way, fires in zone, jump ball, and it is incomplete. No flag on the play. 4th and goal coming up.
I just watched him on that last play. You know his name we haven't called? Andre Carter.
Yeah.
Not yet. He'll come on the left side of your picture here. Do a good job of blocking him there, and the pass is just overthrown. Grayson McCall is human. He threw an incomplete pass.
It's 7 in a row, and this young battery play their offense. Buckingham, who you see at right tackle, he was a quarterback in high school, and now he's playing on the offensive line in this option attack.
So the quarterbacks are the best athletes on their high school team.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but talk about the going from not having anyone hit you to you're getting hit on every play.
Good point. Yeah, you wear the red shirt in practice in high school.
Right. And now he's doing a lot of the work in the trenches. 6'4", 280 pounds. As this
good food up there in West Point, New York.
Mm-hmm. They seem to have a lot of it, too, as it sets up 3rd and 2.
Tyson Riley comes out. Buchanan comes in. They lose absolutely nothing on that substitution. But big play.
3rd down and short. We'll call it 2. Out of the gun. Snap was off a bit, and it's Robinson lowering the boom this time as he stretches the 40-yard line. And another big run, and now O'Shauna Clear looks like he's slow to get up. Looks like Dre Pickney, the safety.
Buchanan was lined up right behind the right guard, and he was like a decoy, and, of course, they went the other way with Robinson.
You get another look. And how about the finish of that run? And this offensive line, Nate, has been really, really good all game long for them. They lined them there, and it's a talented group.
They are good, and their coach is Mike Vitti. who used to be a fullback at Army and then became a captain in the United States Army after that. And you talk about a guy with some guts. Offensive line coach Mike Vitti was a fullback at Army. After retiring from the military, he made a cross-country trek, 1 kilometer for every service member killed in action in the global war on terror. He walked 7,100 kilometers, which is 4,400 miles, beginning and ending in Washington. And where did he end up? At the Army-Navy game of 2014. You talk about inspiration.
Absolutely.
For your team. He is now the Army offensive line coach. He was the fullback or running back coach, and now he's the O-line coach. Big-time contribution to his football team, but a bigger contribution to his country.
Couldn't ask for a better man for not only the offensive line, but this whole Black Knights team to look up to, a role model type in that group, in that coaching room, and they plunge forward for another couple yards here. And you watch how this offensive line works. They sort of epitomize those characteristics, too, and how they work not only in this game, but how you've seen them under his tutelage for years past.
God, that last play, that's what I saw a lot of in last year's Army-Navy game, where Tyler runs behind either Buchanan or Riley rather than outside and uses them as an extra blocker in the hole. And that's exactly what they did and got a decent gain out of it. Tyler can get lost. He's 5'8" behind 260 and 290-pound linemen.
2nd down and 6. Again, the Black Knights on schedule. Again, they'll go out of the shotgun. That's their wrinkle so far. Fake to Robinson on the jet sweep. Plunge up the middle. There's not much there. And a little wrinkle in the offense, more out of the shotgun. Do you think this helps Coastal Carolina? As this is more the way they present the option look.
Yeah, it's well, because these fullbacks have been so successful, they haven't run a whole lot of options. They've just given it to them and gotten 3-4 yards every play. Chanticleers did a good job there stopping them. Now it's 3rd and 4. Don't think they go for it if they don't make it here, but they're very capable of getting 4. And we just showed number 21, so is he, Terrell Robinson.
No, we haven't seen a lot of his tackle for loss. They're going to throw it here, and wide open. They got him. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Ijon Marshall got loose, and there was nobody in sight, and Army goes back in front.
I'd be willing to bet you that during practice last week, Coach Staggs must have said it 1,000 times. Don't get sucked into the run. They do.
Again, and that did not get into the end zone. So a kickoff out of bounds, and a team that does not have a lot of penalties. This is going to be a costly one. It's going to put Grayson McCall and company in great field position.
Yeah, that's a big mistake by Army after the touchdown and a huge break for the Shuns.
So the ball will be placed at the 35. Good field position for Grayson McCall, and it was a drive that was all systems go, got inside the 10-yard line and stalled last time out. And you get the sense that the Chanticleers have figured out how to move the ball. Now they just got to cash in.
Yeah, Reese White started off like he started off the first quarter, just like the third quarter, just like he did the first. They're making Army defend the entire football field, but as you said, when you get down in the red zone, it's tougher to score. Easier for the defense, less ground to cover.
White the back behind McCall. He gets the call here, bounces to the outside. Made a man miss, and just like that, near midfield, another strong run, and he was a missed tackle away for perhaps answering with 6 of his own.
Made a nice cut there. Great job by the offensive line, the right side of it. Lampkin in the middle, of course. Morse on the right, Antoine Loper. Great job. Nobody touches him until he gets to the second level. And then finally gets pulled down.
McCall keeps here. Pitch and catch to the outside. And what this offense is predicated on, find a playmaker on the outside. This time it's Jared Brown. A pickup of 8 or 9, and it'll be close to moving the sticks again.
Yep, they gave it to him. It's one sideline to the other sideline. That's a big football field for 11 guys to cover, but you got to do it against the guys in teal.
So a good throw from McCall moves the change. 2 plays, 2 first downs for the Chanticleer offense as they move into Army territory. Man in motion out of the gun from McCall. Hands off. White again dances outside inside the 40. He'll get 2, maybe 3.
Pretty decent run there. He didn't just blow into the hole. He waited till something developed and got something out of really not much of an offensive play, but got 3 or 4, probably 3.5 yards.
Check that at Beasley on the carry, and Dion Fountain, who we have not called his name much either. Nope. Another one of those talented receivers. He checks in with his play on 2nd down and 7.
Got press coverage on him, too, all by himself.
Pistol look from McCall, man in motion. And a hand it right up the middle. A dive play, Coastal Carolina style that time. Picks up 6 or 7, sets up 3rd and short.
Well, that's the other thing. When they spread you out with 3 or 4 wideouts, that takes 3 or 4 defenders out of the area. There's only 8 left. If you can get a good block up front, you get to the 2nd level, and that's what Reese White has done numerous times. Now they got 2 each side. So that's 4 defenders that are taken out of the run game.
3rd down and 3. 3 wide receivers for Grayson McCall here. As he evaluates, hands it off this time. Had to make a man miss, and does. And dancing his way close to the marker is Reese White. Wasn't all flash and dash early, but here a couple crucial missed tackles get him close to a 1st down. And it's 4th and less than a yard.
Because of his great cutbacks, a couple jump cuts right there. I saw they're putting Hopper in the Hall of Fame here. He was amazing at that.
Now it's 4th.
Right, Coach Chadwell doing Coach Chadwell thing.
4th and 1. Coastal Carolina 2 for 2 in the ballgame. Those are both on a touchdown drive in the first half. Low snap. McCall able to handle it and flipping over the 1st down marker inside the 30. It's Mr. White again who moved.
The right side of the offensive line doing a heck of a job. He's getting pummeled in the backfield, defensive backfield, but nobody's touching him at the line of scrimmage.
The likes of Willie Moyce and Antoine Loper.
Wide open there.
You see finishing the block there. There's a tight end, Jacob Jenkins, getting in on the act as well.
Carlo finally got him, but after a nice gain in the 1st down.
Puts the ball inside the 30-yard line. New set of downs for McCall. Out of the pistol, they fake it there. McCall drops back. He'll check it down and just drop the football, but that might work out better for Coastal Carolina as Brown dropped it, but Army was ready for it.
I don't know if he had a big gain, but he had a decent gain out of it. He just forgot to catch it. McCall looked off all the defenders down the field because everybody in the building thought he was going deep.
And now the
redshirt freshman Brown just didn't catch it.
Officials giving time for one of the Army players who trot off the field. And more whistles here with 1:54 to go in the 3rd quarter.
That's Nathaniel Smith, the starting defensive end.
It was an incomplete pass.
Tell me something I don't know. Clock will start on the snap on an incomplete pass. Come on, everybody knows that.
Inside the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 10 for Grayson McCall and Coastal Carolina. Gives it up the middle here. There is nothing doing. Tackled for the loss, and Bonsu was the first one in there, and a flag comes in late. But Bonsu wrecked that play defensively for Army.
Probably holding from where it was thrown, but we'll see.
And check the marker.
Personal foul. Face mask.
97
Excuse me.
That's a big gain.
And that's Bonsu who made the tackle, the guilty party. And now instead of 3rd down and more than 10, it'll move the chains and move it inside the red zone. A big, big penalty for a team that doesn't commit many of them. Now you get the sense if you're Coastal Carolina, you got to cash in for 6.
Just trying to grab anything you can grab on a running back. Bonsu, big, strong kid, just got his hand on the guard.
Mentioned big and strong. How's 6'4", 280 preseason all-independent selection. Now inside the 15-yard line.
Talked about Andre Carter. There he is, top of the picture.
So it's
done a good job of keeping him out of Grayson McCall's face.
At the distance, we'll put it inside the 15. And that strong pistol set again with both White and Beasley in the backfield. It's Beasley in motion. They fake it to him. Pocket collapse. Flip over the top. Caught. Touchdown. Reese White in on the receiving act this time, and he's in for 6, and the Chanticleers are back in front.
You know, Kyle, Grayson McCall gets a lot of credit for his throwing ability. I don't think he gets enough credit for his ball handling skills. He held that ball just long enough to freeze those linebackers, and the little seam route was wide open. Watch this. He holds it just long enough right there to freeze everybody, and as you said, the clock in his head to get away to Reese White for a touchdown. That was a really smart play.
How about the poise in the pocket with the pocket collapse? And crowd got quiet for a moment after Army's last strike. They're alive and well now as their Chanticleers jump back in front, 24-21. And each time in this game, Army's taken the lead. Grayson McCall has answered the call. His 3rd touchdown of the game. And the Chanticleers lead 24-21.
Last team to touch it wins?
It might be that way. It might be that way. 24-21. The tally has been a punch, counter punch type of game, and the students who have stuck around, a lot to cheer about there. As this student section, they've been spoiled with some good football here in Brooks Stadium.
Yep. Well, they've seen some good football in the last couple of years, but they're hanging around for this one, and they're seeing a great one. Because in the 4th quarter, their team will be running towards them.
So now how will
the game Reese White is in? Wow.
How will the Black Knights respond?
Ran the ball, caught the ball.
You mentioned the game for Reese White. You know, a lot of talk about people were concerned on the Coastal Carolina side with no Braden Bennett, how that would impact the rushing attack. Well, Reese White has answered the bell and then some. As this one will be a touchback, it'll come out of the 25 for Tyler and the Black Knight offense. And give him a lot of credit, too. We asked Coach Munkin what has to work in this style of offense. He said the quarterback has to make good decisions. And so far, the senior from Irvington, New Jersey, has done just that.
Yeah, he's been really good. I mean, the perfect time to throw the perfect pass. And he threw it dead on target for the easy touchdown when Deshaun's blew to coverage. But as far as the option game and when to give it to the big guy behind him, either Riley or Buchanan, and when to turn it himself, been really good so far. Played a lot last year. Didn't start, but played a lot.
Man in motion. And nearly blown up in the backfield. Instead, it'll sprint out for 3 or 4. As Breen Murphy, the man in motion, set the lead block for Robinson that time.
Talk about the perfect time to make the pitch and make the right decision. He did it right there. It's not real hard when you have Robinson, Buchanan, or Riley to give the ball to.
You know, 21's an easy guy to pitch it to, a guy who had over 1,200 yards all-purpose, which was 27th in school history. And that tells you something alone, that you just cracked the top 30 after a 1,200-yard season. Right up the middle this time. This time tackled for a loss. The Chanticleers got in there in a hurry. And like a missile, the Chanticleers came in there and stopped them for a loss.
That's Adrian Hope, the transfer from Wofford, the graduate transfer. Excuse me, not from Wofford, from Furman, same city, wrong school. Did a heck of a job.
Well, he's seen that option game a time or two from Wofford.
Yes,
so
took down a big man, too. Hope's about 235, taking down something almost 40 pounds heavier than you.
Army 5 of 10 on 3rd down. They haven't had many of late that are like this. 3rd and more than 5. Straight drop back under pressure. Now looks deep, throws, it is intercepted. Tyler's worst decision of the night is the first turnover of the ball game, and the Chanticleers take over at the 45 with the first turnover of the season.
He was in bounds as well. They made the immediate signal. They flushed him out of the pocket.
Lead and the ball. McCall, a toss outside and a great tackle in space, prevented that from being a big gain. A big stop there will make it second down and medium.
Deion Fountain was one move away from 6 more. But good play by Army.
When you look at how Coastal Carolina did a season ago with the lead in the fourth quarter, Grayson McCall about as good as they come at managing the game. As a timeout on the field, as man for Army, I believe the guy who made the tackle is a little slow to get up, in the form of Cameron Jones, and the athletic training staff out to tend to him. So while the athletic training staff looks at Jones, will step aside. Early fourth quarter, Coastal Carolina trying to add to a 3-point lead.
The $6 Your Way deal at Burger King is a triple win. Your choice of a bacon double cheeseburger or a rodeo double cheeseburger. Win. Plus fries? Win. And chicken fries? Win. The all-new $6 Your Way deal. It's a win-win-win. Only at Burger King.
It took a while to get up here. We started out around 1959. Then we took a hard left in East Africa. A right at Baja. A 180 in the empty quarter. And that 65-degree incline at Hell's Revenge. But we didn't do all that just to get here. We did it to give you a truck that'll take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.
For you, I wish many things. To see all the world can be. But most of all, I wish you'll never stop wishing.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and save big during the Endless Summer Sale. Get 30% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $29.39. Hurry, it's only August 26th through September 5th. Shop online or at your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store.
The Europeans will not stop until Africa is theirs. They are Gojira already.
Don't you know together we are strong?
Now we have declared war.
We're gonna fight the madness till it's gone.
Some things are worth fighting for.
We just gotta rise up. Yeah, rise up.
We are the spear of victory. We are the blade of freedom.
The Woman King in theaters September 16th. Rated PG-13.
There you get a look at the offensive line coach and Bill Durkin, and what a job his group has done. And there was questions about that group coming into this game, but they performed really, really well.
Absolutely. They lost 3 key players on that offensive line last year. Lampkin and Loper are back. He took guys that played sparingly last year, and they've done a heck of a job to keep people off Grayson McCall and to open up holes for Reese White so far this evening.
Grayson McCall and company back to work as Coach Durkin digs in for a second down and 6 play from the sideline. McCall, time running out, escapes the pocket, and he's into Army territory, tripped up, and he'll be a couple yards shy of a first down. It helps your offensive line when you have a quarterback that can escape out of a pocket, too, as McCall does again here.
Well, that's that internal clock thing. He knew he was getting flushed out a little bit. Can I throw it or just try to get a couple yards? 1,001, 1,002, nobody's open. Fake the pass and just get a couple yards there and keep them off of your legs, son.
Mission accomplished there, and it sets up a 3rd and short, a situation this Chanticleer offense very comfortable in. And it's a team that converted over half the time on 3rd down a season ago. McCall with Carter coming in, fires a bullet to Brown. It's a nice pitch and catch, and it's a first down. And that's not is easy said than done with Carter coming right into your living room window.
And Jared Brown dropped one earlier. Little zone coverage there, and he just threw it right between the 2 defenders. Jared Brown just settled in the open spot of the zone. When Grayson McCall sticks it in your belly button right between the 1 and the 4, it's hard to drop it. It's going to leave an imprint.
I don't know whether he caught it or it caught him,
Yeah,
but either
exactly.
way, it's a first down. And the Chanticleers move inside the 45-yard line. As McCall gives up the middle, there's some room to operate there. A big gain on first down of 6 or 7. And the ground game has been kind. Both White and Beasley having a good day. This time it's Beasley who thunders ahead for 7. And again, it looks like a member of the Army front.
We sound like the Grayson McCall Mutual Admiration Society here, but he did a great job deciding to hand the ball off there. I mean, that's part of the option quarterback stuff, and he did a really good job of doing it right there. Waited till the last second, big-time hole.
And this could be big for Army, as it's Andre Carter,
All-American,
who is down in the accolades a mini. 15 and a half sacks a season ago, and there's some NFL scouts in the building wanting to watch Carter play, and he is a popular theme when talking to Coach Chadwell this week was about his quarterback in Grayson McCall and how he could take that next step. He wanted to see the swagger and competition back off of surgery, but he said there was a way, Nate, that he could elevate his game even further.
Make better decisions. Be an elite decision maker. That's what Willie Corn, the offensive or the quarterback coach, said as well. I think the swagger's right there. Hasn't missed many throws, used his feet properly, and made great decisions.
Bouncing outside on the give here and hit out of bounds. No flags fly, but it is good enough for a first down as Beasley is helped to his feet. And, you know, a lot of talk about Reese White, but Beasley's come and been a nice change of pace back for Coastal Carolina. They're both in the backfield with McCall here on 1st and 10. As the Chanticleers move the chains again, and something McCall is so good at is seeing adjustments on the run. Play clock still plenty of time at 15. Pressure comes, low snap. He gives it away and breaking into the second level. And a big-time tackle from Kwame Bunsu. Otherwise, that would have been a big, big game.
I love it. Last year, there was a couple times when Grayson McCall got upset, and we asked Coach about it in our call the next week. And he got mad at me. He said, because it was a bad play. And he said, Grayson, that's what you're in there for. Get me out of the bad plays. Make me look good. That's what he did right there, change the play. He said, I'm not going to call them all well. You got to get me out of the bad.
Well, a pretty good eye for it as far as analyzing the defense. For the redshirt sophomore quarterback, give to the right side, cuts it back up the middle. All kinds of room and nearly took it to the house. It's White again inside the 10.
You're watching this game and you're a big Sean fan. You're thinking, why don't they throw the ball? Grayson McCall's a good passer. Because this is what they do. They run the clock and they get a lead. That was one step away from a touchdown.
And they'll run it up the middle again and right in the hole. Peyton Hampton, the inside linebacker from Advance, North Carolina, not too far away from his hometown, made a big stop. And it's a minimal gain. He picked up a couple, maybe 3.
White carries. Second down goal from the 5.
And back in comes Bryce Carpenter. He's got Beasley beside him and a capable passer as well. We haven't seen it yet tonight. Perhaps we do here. Carpenter, he's going to keep it himself, turns the corner and is in for now. But a flag is down in the area that you might see holding. Do you think that guy's fired up? Carpenter thinks he's in. And we'll hold everything as we check the penalty flag.
Hold it. 57 offense. It's a 10-yard penalty from previous spot.
Carpenter did a great job there of faking the pitch and turning it, but a little grabbing some laundry up front.
And the crowd of 21,000 plus didn't exactly agree with our referee and Ted Pitts that time.
He called it on Willie Lampkin. He didn't extend his arms out. I don't know about that one. I agree with you.
And
but they're not going to say, okay, you're right, Coach, we'll take the flag.
Right.
Never happened.
Didn't happen when you were coaching, did it?
Never.
Second down and 16. The second and goal from the 16. McCall acted like he was going to run. Now fires over the middle. Nice pitch and catch, and just a composure in the pocket. Second and none. This time he finds Mobley inside the 10.
Great opportunity for Mobley to take over from the great receivers they lost last year. That's a good start.
And now it is third and goal. It'll be interesting to see if they don't get it here. Does it become 4-down territory?
Probably does, since they're down only, since they're up only 3. Going up 6 doesn't help. Army gets a touchdown.
McCall out of the gun, man in motion on third and goal. They'll roll the pocket right, fade into the end zone, and running out of real estate is his intended target. And now it brings up fourth and goal from the 7, and decision time for Jamie Chadwell.
First time they put a little heat on Grayson McCall there, and he was flushed out, had to throw it deep.
And McCall maybe a stinger there, shaking that right arm, and he's a gamer, and Coach Chadwell told us as tough as they come, shook that right arm, and don't know whether it's because he didn't like the throw or maybe a shot he got late.
Throwing it off his back foot. They got to hurry up. There's only 10 on the play clock.
Play clock down to 10. Crowd comes to life, and McCall trying to quiet him down here before a big fourth down. They just do get the snap away. Fade, end zone, broken up. Excellent defense. Flag comes in, and that's going to be a pass interference, and I believe, Nate, it's because Cameron Jones never looked back for the football.
Well, not only that, but the receiver slowed down a little bit, and the only way, knowing the ball was underthrown a little, the only way you can't commit pass interference is if you don't knock them down.
Pass interference. Defense.
Smart play. Just slow down a little bit. Guys got to run through you. First and goal at the 1.
Well, I tell you what, too, any defensive back will tell you their worst nightmare is an underthrown pass.
Oh, yeah.
And you called it slightly underthrown. And the contact drew the flag, and now Coastal
Smart
Carolina
play on
sets
the
up
offense
shop
by the receiver.
So first and goal now at the 2-yard line as McCall gives up the middle, and this time they get 6. They bring the hammer right up the gut, and some extracurriculars. It's Reese White again, some tough yards, and McCall in there as well. I think the swagger's back, Coach.
Reese White earned that one. Grayson McCall standing up for his guys that got jumped on a little bit. Reese White celebrating as he should. He earned that when he played a heck of a football game tonight.
Reese White now with 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving, and he lowered the boom that time as he found pay dirt for 6.
Great second effort.
Hammonds was first one there, and now I believe it's a shot of clear down right by the goal line. And some really tough yards up front. And coming into this game, both coaches said they would be challenged physically for 60 minutes in this game. And I think that last play epitomized that. Is a lot of physical play right on the goal line. And now they're helping the young man to his feet. Goes left tackle Donald Wilson, redshirt junior from North Carolina. He jogs off on his own power.
There's a perfect example. Donald Wilson played 1 game last year.
Yeah.
And now he's a starter.
6'5", 315. That's a big guy to be blocking the blind side of a potential Heisman Trophy candidate by the time all things are said
I got
and
my
done.
picture taken with it today. I'll never win it, but I touched it.
Hey, it's as close as you and I are going to get to
Absolutely.
it, partner. No ceremony in New York for you or I, that is for sure. It's the extra point. And they got Army to jump, and they blow it dead. And you thought for a moment if they jump, maybe they try a fake there and get a free play
you're
out.
up 9, you're going to get half the distance. Do you go for 2?
It's certainly...
Or do you just kick it?
You know, McCall, or perhaps Bryce Carpenter wants another shot at it.
Good.
As offsides, they'll bring it a little closer.
But he's got a field goal kicking unit. This is their first game in total. Snapper, holder, kicker.
Kicker Cade Hensley out of Johnson City, Tennessee. an area that Coach Chadwell familiar with. It's where he played his college ball. And more flags fly.
Flag is down.
Ball start. 64. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still a point for
An extra
try.
point, guys. That's what all the coaches are saying. It's just an extra point. Just to execute. We do it 100 times a week in practice.
Well, ask East Carolina how big an extra point can be for earlier today. With just over 2,800, 21,165, a new record here at Brooks Stadium.
And we were here to see it live and in color.
And that record crowd's seen a pretty good football game. And they've seen one heck of a performance from Reese White, who has a couple scores on the day. And now Army will take over. And this is starting to get late early for Army, the way they run their offense. A little less than 10 minutes to go. They know they got to score twice and get a stop.
Question is, do you change your personality now? I doubt they will. That's not the way Coach Munkin operates. But you never know. You got to be ready for it. The one time they did change it, they got a wide open touchdown pass with nobody near the receiver.
They've had a couple big plays tonight. The counter run to Robinson in the first half went for 70 plus. They come out of that wing tee, counter again here. The shot clears ready for it, and it is Ballard under center. And Robinson, who had a lot more room to scamper on the counter times previously here, not much.
Ballard is the better passer of the three. Doesn't mean he's going to throw it, but I mean, better is a relative term because they threw it less than double digits the entire season last year.
Tyler's sitting there saying, hey, look, I got to come in for 54 yards and a touchdown.
Come on, Coach, I can do this.
It is Ballard game here on 2nd down and 7. And a lot of motion up front as they move Jordan Law to the left side. They fake the counter, and we'll see Ballard air it out, going deep. He's got a man behind everybody. Off to the races is Murphy. He will score. Just like that, Army back within one score.
It's what they do. They lull you into watching that dive, that option, and then they get behind you, and we said Ballard can chuck it. Nice fake. He just sets and lets it fly. 15 yards behind any defensive back. It's not a waltz in the end zone, but it's not a fair race.
His first career touchdown pass, just his second completion.
Just like that, Army's back in the football game.
That's what we're saying. It's getting late early. Well, Army's got a quick strike offense. 56 seconds, and Army makes it a 3-point football game. And now the pressure's right back to the other side, and Grayson McConaughey offense.
No question about it. Everybody that went to their car, not everybody, there's a few, turned on the radio figuring, oh, man, good game. Whoops, 31-28. I don't think they let you back in the stadium either.
To quote a Lee Corso line, not so fast, my friend.
Exactly right.
As Army has jumped right back into the thick of it. And now, you mentioned the ball control offense that Coastal Carolina likes to play. It'd be the perfect time for one of those 4, 5, 6-minute drives. And see the student section there, but now it's the Corps cadets that have a lot to cheer about. As the Army band made the trip as well. As the Chanticleer student section hoping to see the men in teal dance in the end zone at least one more time in this one. In what is now just a 3-point game.
I remember when I was coaching back at Appalachian State many, many years ago, Coach Cremens used to always say when we played VMI, and I'm not saying the Military Academy West Point is VMI, he'd always say, guys, these guys are never going to quit on you. They're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning no matter what. But on this team, they're willing to give their life for their country. Talk about never quit. That's an amazing asset of everybody in uniform on a football team or any other team. That's what the cadets of Army will do for us, and they will do after they graduate. So they're not giving up on a football game.
And Coach Chadwell mentioned that more than once in his press conference, and you
Yep.
know it was a theme throughout their team meetings and practices this week as well. And Coastal Carolina, a big drive here, 8:58 to go. You know, as coaches show this week, Coach Chadwell said, you know, if we get 40 points a game, I'm going to be shocked. Here we are at 31, a little under 9 minutes to go, not too far off as McCall takes over here in the fourth quarter. One would have to think if they get to that 40 threshold, it would equal a win
Still
for
no
Coastal
reason
Carolina.
to throw the ball over the lot here. I mean, that's not what they did. They got their last touchdown because of Reese White and his exploits.
Reese White in the backfield here along with Beasley. And up the middle they go, and a chunk of yards here out across the 40-yard line. And right on cue, Coach, it's Reese White across the 40-yard line for a first down.
He had a $1.16 before that play, so he's probably right up there about a $1.25 on 17 carries.
Averaging over 6.5
Once
yards
again,
a pop.
great job up front, and he does not get tackled until he gets to the third level. Credit to him and to the offensive line.
He had a TLC, if you will, to run through. He's got another alley here and tripped up from behind. Good tackle in space, might have saved 10 more yards as he was tripped up.
A heck of a 1-2 combination right there, Beasley and White.
Both of them can be hard to find at just 5'10" behind those big offensive linemen, and they pack a punch.
Beasley might have a hair quicker, but not much, because Reese White's done some great job of sidestepping people.
Out of the gun here for McCall with 3 receivers, 2 to his right, 1 out left. McCall on the option this time. He's going to keep it and jump inside for a first down. And a willing runner has been McCall. He's over 25 yards rushing now on 6 carries, and this one moves the chains.
If you don't see anybody's number, you turn the corner. He never saw anybody's number. He turned the corner. Somebody comes up to stop you, that's what the pitch man's for.
Pickney, who is active in the receiving game early at the bottom of your screen. On 1st and 10 here, they motion that way, and it looks like a logjam. McCall at the last moment got rid of it, and it's going to result in a first down. A dangerous play, perhaps, but McCall put it right on the numbers of Jared Brown, and it works out for a first down.
A little trickeration there. He fooled the cameraman. He fooled us. It was a two-handed forward pass, but it worked. Watch this. Fake the dive. Keep it. Last possible second. Pitch it to nobody out there defensively. First down.
It ain't from your basketball days. Textbook chest pass.
Two-hand chest pass. Thank goodness he didn't bounce it, but that was a good pass.
Works out for a first down as we wind under 7 minutes to go. And as you said, Chanticleer's not in any kind of hurry. Play clock again inside of 5. Again, they'll hand it off. All kinds of room up the middle. And Nate, I tell you what, it looks like the Army front that's tired here in the fourth quarter.
That's a great point. I didn't think that would be the case. Grayson McCall threw a nice little brush block here after he handed it off to Beasley.
Questions coming in. How would he respond after surgery? And did an interesting thing around the Sun Belt, and they asked opposing coaches about the other teams in the league. And an opposing coach in the conference said if Grayson McCall is anywhere near healthy, they're going to be pretty good. 2nd and 1. Give up the middle. All kinds of room here. It's White again, scampering across the 20. And they'll move the chains as White and Beasley have carried the load on the ground, and it's been a thing of beauty to watch.
Reese White has 132. Beasley's got 62, but he's going to catch him if he has more plays like that.
And the Chanticleers on the march. And if you're Army here, you're trying to find some way, somehow, to keep them out of the end zone. Field goal doesn't kill you, but a touchdown.
The play clock will be in single digits every time it's snapped for the rest of this football game if you're a Coastal fan.
It's inside of 7 here as McCall comes with a strong set pistol. Move Beasley in motion. They give him the give. He tries to turn the corner, and he's met by a host of Black Knights there. And they swarm him down from there.
Pretty good pursuit there to stretch it out for the Black Knights.
It was Broughton who got there first. Team captain is Broughton for the second straight year, and it's a big deal on any team, but especially for these service academies.
Absolutely.
It's a huge honor to be team captain once, much less twice. Speaks to the leadership that Broughton needs to that defensive unit, the 5'10 senior out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Brings up 2nd down and 6 here. Low snap, McCall gives. Strong power run to the right side, spinning out of a tackle. And the offensive line for Coastal Carolina, you saw it again there. Finishing blocks. It's Donnell Wilson that finished his man off that time.
The job of the defensive line is to get rid of those blockers using your hands. Coastal's not letting them do that. You know, it's the same play over and over and over. And the offensive line loves this kind of football. Just snap it again, let me go hit somebody. Because they know that whether Beasley or Reese White behind them is going to make a positive play out of it. Sean's milking that clock as they should.
It's a lot easier.
Points out his drive great, but don't give Army any time.
A lot easier for those offensive linemen than pass protecting 30, 40 times the ball game. And here, there's some linemen that jumped. Now the question, who was first? If it's Army, it's a 1st down and goal. If it's Coastal Carolina, it makes it 3rd and a lot tougher.
Who's the first guy to help up Willie Lampkin, his quarterback, Grayson McCall? You protect me all day, I'll help you up off your butt.
Grayson McCall, who has not been sacked, 12 of 17 for 174.
Offside. Defense. Number 93.
It's a 3-5. What did that take?
And a big penalty. That's the difference between 1st and goal or 3rd and 8 if you're Coastal Carolina. And you can go to work on that clock some more. Picture perfect drive if you're the Chanticleers so far. They'd love to end it with an exclamation point and a touchdown.
Chanticleers now 28-43 time possession to 22-19 for Army. That's evidence of the last 2 drives.
McCall out of the pistol. Hand it to the tailback and Beasley. There's White, who charges across inside the 5, and another Chanticleer slow to get up. A couple of them stretching it out there, and this one's
like Rivette there, 85.
Yep, the tight end, redshirt senior.
Please put 3:06 on the game clock. Army has taken a timeout. Timeout on.
So you wondered perhaps when they would dip into those timeouts. Army will take the first one here, and you think, well, if you're Coastal Carolina, you're in good shape. Army, not always known as a quick strike offense, but last time they had the football, they went down the field and scored in 56 seconds. Yep. So now, if you're Coastal Carolina, you know Grayson McCall's thinking, punch this one in the end zone and try to put a bow on this one. 2nd and goal, and you see that battery in the background of holder, kicker, and snapper, all a new unit in that spot.
If Army gets the ball back, there was one man that's going to implore his troops, and that's Brian Foster, the defensive backs coach. Yep. Don't let anybody get behind you. We practice tackling a lot. Keep them in front of you and tackle them. The 2 touchdowns for Army in the air, they've been way behind any defensive back with a teal jersey on.
They've been big plays, too. You look at the Army touchdowns tonight. A 70-yard run, the 73-yard pass to cap the last drive, and the one before that was for 54 yards. So 3 scores of 50-plus yards for Army in the football game.
That is not a typical Army offensive attack by any means. But you got to do what you got to do.
2nd and goal inside the 5. McCall keeps up the middle. Grayson McCall is in.
There's your swagger, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Fake to Reese White. Just held on to it.
Well, with the Heisman Trophy in town, he has put up that type of performance. 3 touchdowns through the air, and one's on the ground for good measure. And when his team has needed this unit to put the ball in the end zone, McCall's found a way to do it.
Nothing new. That's what he does. He finds a way to get the ball in the end zone, whether it's Further, he's thrown it to great.
There's the numbers for a Heisman hopeful in Grayson McCall. 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. Efficient, over 70% completion rating again. And not necessarily the yardage that'll pop out to you, but I tell you what, he's gotten the job done.
27 yards on 6 rushes and another touchdown. So he's accounted for 4, and he's thrown at 71% completion rate, exactly when he finished with last year.
Which, if there was a stat from Grayson McCall from a year ago that Coach Munkin for Army sort of oohed and awed over, it was that number, the completion percentage. He said, I don't know how a quarterback throws it and completes 74% of his passes.
Serious hands in him too last year, but this year they look pretty good as well.
Looking back to throw, and he is sacked for a loss. The first sack of the season, and a host of Chanticleers were there. Jamar Brown, though, will get credit for his first sack, and he swallowed that one whole.
Coach Staggs knows they're going to throw the ball. Come after him. They got him.
It's something they haven't gotten to do a lot. And a name we haven't mentioned a lot is Isaiah Alston.
Yep.
Talked to Coach Munkin about him. He said he catches anything around him, and he does here.
Well, right now it's keep every white shirt in front of you. Let him have the reception. Just don't let him have 6.
3rd and long here, 3rd and 8. And this play got blown up in the backfield. There's nothing doing there either. And there was nowhere for Ballard to hide. And now they're looking at 4th and ball game almost.
Big Gerard Clark just blew that whole thing up. 335 pounds and you're number 15. That's an unusual sight, but it worked. He just blocked it. He just took everything.
The shotgun. Crowd comes to life. Throw over the middle, well overthrown. And the Chanticleer defense is going to get their stop. Coastal Carolina will take over, and with under 2 to go.
Obvious passing situation. They knew it. They put a little heat on the quarterback, and they made some tackles on the couple completions. So good job to finish this game. Now they just got to go victory formation and hold on to the football.
And the Crown and Teal, they came out in record fashion. Over 21,000 strong, and it's going to continue a really good opening week for the Sun Belt Conference. Marquee game.
You know what this game's going to do for future Army opponents? It's going to drive them crazy because they realize they know what they're going to do running the ball. Now they know they can score throwing the ball. That puts another wrinkle into the defensive coordinators will not sleep well getting ready to play the Black Knights. It's Carpenter in there now.
And if you look at the Black Knights schedule, this is not the only Sun Belt team they'll play.
Right.
They'll welcome one to West Point later in the years. Carpenter picked up a couple, but the main key is hold on to the football inside of 1:30
the
to go.
new members of the offensive line played a heck of a football game tonight, along with the 2 veterans at center. They moved Willie Lampkin to center and then Antoine Loper on the right side. But Wilson McDonald and Moyes did a heck of a job, along with their backups, to keep Grayson McCall upright and to give huge holes for C.J. Beasley and Reese Wright. And we didn't see Aaron Bedgood and Braden Bennett, 2 really good running backs.
Handoff up the middle, slips loose. It's Reese White again. And an exclamation point on his night as he rumbles inside the 15.
He's working on a 150-yard rushing game on 22 carries, just under 150.
That's impressive stuff. And that first down, they can line up, take a knee. And Coastal Carolina is going to start the year
He just
in the
brought
wing
Grayson
column.
McCall back into the game because he probably runs victory formation in practice more than Bryce Carpenter does.
Well, any questions about how McCall would play after injury? I think he answered them tonight emphatically. And a kneel down here will paint this one teal. Coastal Carolina, a 38-28 win, and I'd say the swagger is all there for Grayson McCall.
Heck of a game. He did have five incomplete passes, so he's not perfect. But he played a phenomenal football game against a very good Army team who proves they can score the football with great runners, quarterbacks that can throw the ball when they have to. It's going to be a good team for Army the rest of the season. But the rest of the Sun Belt better be ready for the Chanticleers because Grayson McCall is back 100%. An offensive line that's pretty darn good, and nobody thought they would be, and receivers that are very capable.
You saw Coach Munkin and Coach Chadwell exchange pleasantries there. Two good friends in the coaching profession, by the way, have a lot of respect for each other. And Coastal Carolina starting 1-0. They'll welcome Gardner-Webb here next week. And I tell you what, really impressive from both sides. What do you take away from this win from Coastal Carolina?
Coach Munkin goes back to his roots. He did it at Georgia Southern with the triple option. He's got two quarterbacks that are very capable. He's got great fullbacks, and he's got a really good running back that can make something happen in Terrell Robinson.
We want to bring a cool moment, too. They're going to sing both alma maters here. Both bands are here, and the Army Corps of Cadets will sing first.
Winner sings second. So, Army singing the alma mater, and boy, I tell you what, a really, really cool picture to finish off a really cool football game. But it's Coastal Carolina who wins it 38-28. Nate, your final thoughts? The Chanticleers are a pretty good football